Hey, what's up guys, it's your boy KCM What Ifs. Today we are gonna be reading Naruto, the Black Fox, or what if Naruto was killed and joined the Fox village. So sit back, relax and enjoy. A cold rain started to fall over the leaves, making everyone's day just a little bit worse. In the Leaf Hospital, Inoue Kimichi felt a few drops of rain hit her face. The sudden burst of cold water caused her to open her blue eyes for the first time in hours. "Choji," said Ino as she tried to sit up only to feel a pain in her stomach. She looked down to see a line of sticks on her pageant stomach. "Choji, I am here," said Choji as Ino looked to her right to see Choji lying on his stomach on the floor. His back was covered with his wrappings. "What happened? I remember the glass flying but nothing less," asked Ino. "Why are you on the floor?" "After they took the glass out of your stomach and my back they placed us in here," answered Choji. "However, there was only one bed and they had no choice but to put me on the floor." "Why didn't they just get a spare bed from storage?" asked Ino. "They ran out of beds," said a new voice as Ino looked toward the source to see Shikamaru sitting in the corner with a right leg in a cast that ran from his foot to his upper thigh. "How long have you been there?" asked Choji. "Ever since those doctors put me in this goddamn cast," said Shikamaru. "Temari should be back in a little bit, so she went to talk to the Hokage about sending a message out to the sand." "Ino, how is the baby?" asked Choji. "Don't worry you two, your little girl is fine," said Shikamaru. "So did we win?" asked Choji. "Yes, but it costs a lot and it is going to be a rough time rebuilding everything," said Shikamaru. "How did we win?" asked Ino. "Now that is going to take some time," said Shikamaru. Meanwhile, at the Namikaze estate, 6 glasses of red wine were being filled up. "Isn't it a little early for you to be drinking wine, Sakura-chan?" asked Naruto. "If you are worried about the kids, it will be alright. The demon chakra should clear out any trace of alcohol as long as I don't get wasted," said Sakura as she handed out the wine. Ricky and Eri were currently sleeping in their small play pen that was set up in the living room. Sakura, like Naruto, was trying not to look at the clock on the wall. They were down to just over 10 minutes left until their hour was up. "Stop looking at the clock," said Minato as Naruto and Sakura looked at the 4th Hokage. "If you worry about the time, you will miss what is really important." "I just don't know where to begin," said Sakura as she looked toward her dad. "I have a lifetime's worth of questions, but now it just seems meaningless." "I am just sorry I wasn't around to watch you grow," said Kane. "Enough about the past, what are you two going to do?" asked Kushina as Naruto looked toward his mother. "Honestly, I don't know," said Naruto as he looked at Sakura. "We have been so worried about the war and the kids that we haven't thought that far ahead. We are kind of too powerful to go on regular missions," said Sakura as she placed her head on Naruto's shoulder. "Naruto-kun and I are probably among the top 4 strongest ninjas in the world, with the other 2 being Shikamaru and Hinata," said Naruto. "Who?" asked Kane. "Shikamaru Nara and Hinata Inuzuka," explained Naruto. "Shikamaru is the summoner of the only still living demon Lord Hachihei of the demon wolves, while Hinata summons the demon lions," said Sakura. "At least that means another village will not attack us," said Rin. "They would have to face the wrath of demons," said Kane with a smile. "It's not that simple," said Naruto. "We are demon summoners, and yes, the demons would protect the village if it is attacked, but they will not let us go on the attack with them. If we do, then we lose the summons." "So you can't use them to take over other villages?" asked Kane. "No," said Naruto, "and that is a good thing, it keeps us balanced." Less than 2 miles away from the Leaf, the ninjas of the sand were on the move. Thanks to Ru's attack clearing the path of any trees or brush that would slow them down, they were making almost impossible speeds. "Come on, we need to keep going," ordered Gaara to his already tried ninjas. "Gaara, we need to rest. If there is a battle going on we will arrive tired but of no use to anyone," said Kankura as he looked toward the Leaf ninjas who had come with them. Including among them was the second in command of the Leaf Hospital, Shizun. She and a team of medical ninjas had been assigned to the sand to help them build their own teams of highly trained medical ninjas. Now the Leaf Ninjas were pushing to keep going even more than Gaara. Before Gaara could respond, a Finlamar face appeared over the horizon. "Kakashi!" yelled Shizun as Kakashi looked up from his book before running up to the large group of ninjas. "What is up?" asked Kakashi. "How is the leaf?" asked Shizun. "Well, the battle is over, but," said Kakashi, "it's hard to describe it, but about half the village was destroyed." "What?" asked Shizun as her and everyone else's eyes widened at the news. "Good news is that we won the war," said Kakashi. "How many did we lose?" asked Shizun. "Unknown, but at the moment it doesn't look good for the ninja corps, but the villagers seem okay," said Kakashi. "We need to get home," said Shizun. "Kakashi, is there anything we can do to help?" asked Gaara. "Well, the Hokage would know more, but we need a lot of help with the cleanup, and half our outer wall was totally destroyed, so security will be an issue for a while," said Kakashi. "We will do whatever we can," said Gaara. Back in the Namikaze estate, the knock no one was waiting for came. "Come in," said Naruto as Kuya the White Flame entered the home. "It is almost time," said Kuya as everyone looked to see they had less than 5 minutes left before their hour was up. Kushina put her wine down before standing up. "Before we go, can we have some time to say goodbye?" asked Kushina. "Of course," said Kuya as she lowered her head for a bit. She was about to turn to leave only to have Sakura speak up. "If you don't mind, we need someone to work the camera," said Sakura. "I will gladly do it," said Kuya as everyone stood up and headed toward the fireplace. Kuya picked up a camera only to look at it strangely. "How do I work this thing?" "Just point this end toward us and push the button," explained Sakura as she showed Kuya of the White Flames how to work a camera before moving back to her position. Naruto and Sakura were in the center holding Eri and Riki in their arms. On either side of Naruto and Sakura stood their parents, their moms standing closer to them with their husbands on the outside. "I think I got them," said Kuya as she handed the camera back to the Sakura, who checked the photos were good. "Thanks," said Sakura. "I will leave you for a little bit," said Kuya as she disappeared in a flash of light. They quickly took photos of each of them with their parents and the grandkids with their grandparents. Now came the part neither of them wanted to do, saying goodbye. Naruto, holding Riki, went to his parents while Sakura and Eri went to her parents. "Naruto, I just want you to know that we love you," said Kushina with tears in her eyes as she hugged Naruto so hard that Riki let out a little cry. Instantly Kushina backed up as Riki looked up at his grandmother with his green eyes. "And make sure you keep an eye on this little man here." "I will," said Naruto as he looked down. "What is it?" asked Kushina. "Nothing," said Naruto. "He is worried about being a good father," stated Minato. "I never had a family as a kid, so I don't know how to be a father," said Naruto. "I just am worried about making a mistake with them." "Don't worry," said Minato as he placed his hand on Riki's head, rubbing a little bit of red hair on his head before looking into his son's eyes. "You will do great, just be yourself." "I hope you are right, I just don't want them to hate me," said Naruto. "They will hate you," said Kushina as Naruto looked at his mother. "They will hate it when you tell them they can't have a toy from the store, or that they can't go out and party with their friends. These moments may last a while, but they will love you in the end." "I hope you are right," said Naruto. "Parenting is more guesswork than science," said Minato. "Well, that is what I was told by Jiraiya. Somehow I don't think the legendary pervert is well versed in parenting skills," said Kushina, "but in this case he is right." "I will miss you, my little princess," said Kane as he kissed Sakura's forehead like he did when she was a baby. "Well, maybe I should call you Queen, because she is now the little princess." "She is Naruto's little princess, but I will always be your princess daddy," said Sakura with tears in her eyes. "Kane," said Rin as she looked at her husband. "Rin," said Kane as he looked at his wife, "you raised our daughter right." "She acts like you," said Rin. "No, you just see me in her," said Kane as he placed his hand on his daughter's cheek. "She is your daughter through and through. I just could have been there to help you." "It wasn't your fault," said Rin. "Naruto," said Minato as he looked at his son. "I know this time will be trying, having to rebuild the village and raising those 2 kids. However, you will make it, and I know you will have a happy life. It's time, said Kuya as she appeared again. Sakura, said Kane as he pulled his daughter close. I just want you to know that before you even came into this world I loved you, and after I have died I still love you and your mother more than anything. Daddy, said Sakura, unable to find the right words as she fought back tears. It's okay, Sakura, said Kane as he wrapped his arms around his crying daughter. Rin responded by wrapping her arms around the 3 of them. Little Eri was confused at what was happening around her. Meanwhile, Kushina hugged her boy for the last time. She was hugging him with all his might, fighting against nature to hold on to her son. Minato was standing back just a little bit watching the scene. Slowly Minato walked up and wrapped his arms around his son, wife and grandson. Just be yourself, Naruto, said Minato. I have to go, Sakura, said Kane. No, Daddy, said Sakura as he felt her dad disappearing back into the world of death. Just have a good and happy life, Sakura, said Kane, and Rin, I love you. Goodbye, said Kane as he faded away into nothingness. At the same moment Naruto was crying as his dad's smiling face faded away, the last to disappear. Kushina's disappearing face kissed Naruto's forehead before kissing Riki's forehead. We love you, Naruto, said Kushina. Goodbye, said Naruto with tears in his eyes as once again his parents' soul returned to the land of the dead. This is horrible, said Tsunade as she stood under a large tent that had been set up on the edge of the crater. From this position the search for wounded and the dead in the destroyed part of the village was organized. On the table lay a map of the village. The entire northwest side of the village was totally destroyed with nothing standing there. Other areas were in orange where a few buildings survived the battle that formed a ring around the area. The rest of the village was marked in either yellow or green. Yellow was slightly damaged, ranging from broken windows to damaged roofs. The green area was the areas that were far away from the battle and suffered no damage. Power was out to most of the village, same with water, and to make it worse most of the warehouses storing the food that had come in from the fields around the leaf were in the red zone. They had only their emergency supply of food, 20 days at the most. It is all your fault for siding with the demons, said Choza as Tsunade's rage began to build. The demons caused this. The next thing Choza knew, he was flying backwards from a punch. What the fuck was that for? Yelled Choza. Don't blame the demons. If it wasn't for them our village would have shared the same fate as the Earth village. Stated Tsunade, we may have been damaged but we are still here. You are a fucking idiot, Tsunade, yelled Choza as he turned into a ninja from his own clan. The Hokage has broken the law by attacking a council member, arresting her. No, said the ninja. What? Asked Choza. First, you are no longer clan representative on the council, that is Choji, said the ninja. Second, you didn't see the battle. You didn't see the Kyuubi throw himself in front of that other demon's attack to save the villagers. If anything, we should be thanking them, said another ninja as Choza's eyes widened as he looked around at the ninjas around him. They are nodding their heads in agreement with the statement. I can't believe this, said Choza. I can't speak for the entire ninja corps but for my squad. From what we saw in Naruto Namikaze, the rest of the demon summoners and the demons on our side are our friends and we would follow them, said an ANBU captain. Agreed, said the Akimichi ninja. Agreed, said another and then another. Like a line of dominoes, the heads of different squads agreed with Tsunade. Looks like the ninja corps is behind Naruto and the other demon summoners, said Tsunade. Now why don't you run along now, we have work to do. Lady Tsunade, Kakashi is back, reported another ninja as Kakashi appeared from around a corner. Kakashi, your orders were, started Tsunade until she noticed a large group of sand ninjas turn the corner with him. I know you wanted me to scout for any intruders, but I thought it was important to bring them here, said Kakashi. Lady Hokage, how can we help? Asked Gaara. What can't you do? Asked Tsunade. We need help in cleanup, search and rescue along with the security of the village. Kankura takes some of our squads and helps with the search for wounded and the dead, ordered Gaara. Matsuri, can you lead the cleanup? Of course, Lord Kazekage, said Matsuri. Strange, Gaara ordered me, but he asked Matsuri, thought Kankura. Where is my sister? Asked Gaara. She had just left to go back to the hospital to check on Shikamaru, answered Tsunade. How bad was the little Nara hurt? Asked Kankura. A simple broken leg, answered Tsunade. Lady Tsunade, what of us? Asked Shizun. I need you at the hospital. Ino got hurt and we got a lot of wounded that need to be cared for, stated Tsunade. If Ino is out, then I could really use Sakura's help, said Shizun. Well, Kuya will not let me talk to Naruto and Sakura at the moment, said Tsunade. Kuya? Asked Kankura. The white flame, said Kuya as she appeared beside the map table. They should be here soon. Who are you? Asked Matsuri. I am a form of life far above humans or demons, said Kuya. I fought my brother Ru on this battlefield and sealed him again. Is he the one who sent that black flame at us? Asked Kankura. Yes, and believe me, I can do the same things he did, said Kuya before she smiled. However, I am one of the good guys. Lady Hokage, once you finish the search and rescue, I will fill in the dirt. That is a lot of earth, said Gaara. I can move the moon itself, believe me, replacing some earth is easy, said Kuya as she looked at Kankura. Back at the Namikaze estate, Naruto, Sakura and Rin were still trying to process what they had gone through. They had had their long-lost loved ones for an hour, but now they were gone once again. This sucks, said Sakura. I miss Dad more than I did before. It still is better than never having seen them, said Naruto as he whipped the tears from his eyes. And they got to see their kids and their grandkids, that has got to mean something. It would be me, said Rin as she looked at the spot where her husband had last been. Even an hour with your loved ones is better than nothing. Mom, I hate to ask this of you, but Naruto-kun and I need to get back out there and help the village, said Sakura as she tried to get her mind off what had happened to them. Don't worry, I will take care of the little ones, said Rin. It's just I don't feel like a good mother doing this, said Sakura. Sakura, all young parents fall on their own parents for help until your grandmother dies. She watched you every day while I worked at the shop, said Rin. Besides, the village needs you too. Thanks, Mom, said Sakura as she and Naruto forced their tired bodies out of the door. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Hinata Inuzuka waited outside of the doors to the surgery department. So how is the dog? Asked Lavi as the commander of the Royal Lion Guards and temporary lord of all demon lions stood before Hinata in his human form. The medics were able to stabilize him, but he has 3rd and 2nd degree burns over most of his body from being thrown in Ru's flames. They don't know if, said Hinata as tears began to build up in her eyes. It's alright, Hinata, said Lavi. In situations like this it is alright to show your emotions. Sometimes even lions cry, said Hinata. I remember when Lady Citlali told me that. She was a fine lord, said Lavi. I know the odds were against us getting her back from the seal Madara did to her, but I still held on hope. There is no hope of bringing her back, is there? Asked Hinata, already knowing the answer. No, we found the ring that Madara sealed her in, said Lavi. That son of a bitch used all her chakra to unleash Ru. She is gone. We don't even have a body to bury her alongside her family. Her family's dynasty has come to an end. And a new dynasty must begin, said Hinata as she looked at Lavi. I don't want to be lord of the demon lions, said Lavi. My family has been members of the royal guard since the founding of our race. We serve the dynasty, we don't replace it. Then serve the dynasty one last time. Take over and rule the demon lions like Lady Citlali would have wanted, said Hinata. Besides, I think Lady Citlali would have wanted you to take her place. Personally, I think she would rather have had you, said Lavi. If only you had been born a lioness in body and in soul instead of just soul. If that had been the case, then I wouldn't have been able to be with my mate, said Hinata. I know, said Lavi as he turned to leave. I hope he is okay. So do I, said Hinata as the doctor came out. Mrs. Inuzuka, said the doctor as Hinata looked at him. He has some scars on his right side but he should be fine. Can I see him? Asked Hinata. Of course, said the doctor as he stepped aside and let Hinata into the room. She entered the room to find her husband lying on his side. The side up in the air was totally wrapped up in bandages. You look rough, said Kiba with a grin, as Hinata pushed some of her dirty hair behind her ear. Her clothes were dirty and covered with blood. You're one to talk, Kiba-kun, said Hinata as she noticed a burn that wasn't covered by bandages sticking out from the bandages around his face. Here I thought chicks dig scars, said Kiba. If any other chick apart from me dig those scars I will rip them a new one, said Hinata. Elsewhere in the hospital, Ino and Choji slept while Shikamaru fought exhaustion and the sedatives he had been given for his leg. He didn't even hear the door to the room open. How are you doing, little boy? Asked Tamari as she sat down beside her husband. My leg still hurts, other than that I am good, yawned Shikamaru before resting his head on his wife's shoulder. Tried but good. Well, both of us better rest up while we can, said Tamari, and Shikamaru smiled. Did it come back positive? Didn't it? Asked Shikamaru. Yeah, we are going to be parents, said Tamari as she waited for her husband's famous line, but it didn't come. Aren't you going to say it? Say what? Asked Shikamaru. That a child is troublesome, asked Tamari, and Shikamaru smiled as he put his hand on his wife's still flat stomach. He knew that within her growing and developing was their child. A piece of him and the woman he loved, and he would do anything to protect that life or lives. Yeah, it is troublesome, but it will be worth it, said Shikamaru. I don't even care if it is a boy or girl or how many you may be carrying. All I care about is them and you. Tamari smiled as she rested her head on top of her husband's head. I am just not hoping I am carrying twins or multiple kids. I don't think I could handle that, said Tamari. Whatever it is, said Shikamaru as he closed his eyes and let sleep take him, his hand still on his wife's stomach. Back at the command tent, Tsunade was organizing the search numbers that were starting to come in, and it was a mixed blessing. The numbers killed and wounded among the civilian population was surprisingly low, a testament to the effectiveness of the evocation. However, the same couldn't be said about the ninja corps. They had lost over a quarter of the entire ninja force in the first battle of the war over a year ago with the demons. Now they had lost another quarter of the ninja force in the defense of the village. In the span of just over a year, half the entire ninja force of the Leaf was whipped out. Lady Tsunade, said a voice. Tsunade looked up to see Naruto standing there. Dirt and blood covered his and Sakura's clothes and flesh. They looked like they had gone through hell and somehow came out the other side. How bad is it? Asked Naruto. This will take years to rebuild everything, and the lives that were lost can't be replaced, said Tsunade, but the most important thing is at the moment we need housing and food for the villagers. I can offer the extra housing on my clan compound, said Naruto. We have 24 houses and we only need one at the moment. That will let some people rest their heads inside tonight, said Sakura. I will send some people over, said Tsunade. Gaara has already sent orders to bring food from the sand to keep our villagers going. Lady Tsunade, I know I am technically not a medical ninja anymore, but... started Sakura. Yeah, you can go to the hospital and help the wounded, said Tsunade. In fact, why don't you come back and work full-time at the hospital? But the villagers, said Sakura. Sakura, sometimes the villagers are idiots. You are the best medical ninja in the world, if not the world, said Tsunade. They don't deserve your skills, but it is what they need. Just like they need you, Naruto. What? Asked Naruto. This job, rebuilding the village. The ninja core and the heart of this village is beyond my power, said Tsunade as she looked into Naruto's eyes. I am so tired. Lady Tsunade, said Sakura as she raised her hand, stopping Sakura from speaking. It is time for my generation to retire and leave it up to your generation to pick up the torch of leadership, said Tsunade. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, I want you to be the 6th Hokage of the village hidden in the leaves. Lady Tsunade, the villagers, said Naruto. May I interrupt, said an ANBU captain as Naruto, Sakura and Tsunade looked at him. Naruto, Speaking frankly, whoever is against you is a fucking idiot. We have seen what you have done to help the poor in the 9th and 8th district. We saw you fight against those demons, and frankly the mere fact you would open up your own clan home to the homeless shows your kindness. The ninja corps is behind you, the poor of the village are behind you. If you don't take the position and some fucking idiot who only cares about the rich takes over, then what has all this been for? Please sir, don't let all the lives lost be for nothing. Naruto just looked down as he let the ANBU's words sink in. Naruto, some villagers will never come around to your side, but you are what the village needs right now, added Tsunade. Sakura looked at her husband as an internal battle raged within him. Part of him wanted to complete the final part of the dream he had for as long as he could remember. The other feared the villagers' reaction, a fear of the rage and anger he had known for his entire childhood. Alright, said Naruto, I'll do it. Sakura Namikaze walked through the front doors of the hospital. Instantly she was hit by the number of wounded. Most of the wounded were ninjas who had come straight off the battlefield, then there were the villagers who had gotten hurt when they started cleaning up the village. Those injuries ranged from pulled back muscles to deep cuts from falling glass. Sakura, said Shizune as she ran up to Sakura. Thank God you are here. Where do you need me? Asked Sakura. Take your pick with Ino down, we need someone in charge of the ER, stated Shizune. Ino's down? Asked Sakura. Don't worry, she is fine, said Shizune. Alright, I will take over here, said Sakura. Thank you, said Shizune. Shizune, there is one more thing, said Sakura as she leaned forward and whispered into Shizune's ear so that the villagers wouldn't hear. Lady Tsunade just gave Naruto the Hokage position. What? Asked Shizune now. She thinks that it is the right time and a new generation can take the lead, said Sakura. Alright, said Shizune, I'll learn more later. At the moment they need you, and don't worry about them not liking you. When someone is hurt they tend not to care that heals them as long as they get healed. Back at the command tent, Naruto was taking the lead in coordinating the search and rescue mission. Tsunade stood by and watched as ninjas came to her for orders, only for her to tell them that Naruto was in charge and soon he would be Hokage. Most ninjas smiled at that before turning to Naruto. I want you all to focus on the outer ring area, said Naruto as heads of all the search parties came in for a meeting. If there are any survivors they would be mostly in that area. Lord Hokage, what about the center area, said one ninja for a moment. Naruto didn't respond as he tried to process the information. It wasn't the question that got him, it was being called the Hokage. What? Wait a second, he is talking to me, thought Naruto. We aren't going to give up hope on finding someone near the center, however we have limited resources and the odds of someone living though that blast and then the battle near the center is low if it isn't impossible, said Naruto as he turned back to the map. Also concentrate on the village itself, don't go searching the remains of the woods for people. The protective detail will take care of that. Yes, Lord Hokage, said the ninja. Also I am not the Hokage. Not yet, said Naruto as he looked at them. Lady Tsunade has named me her replacement, but until the council accepts her placement choice I am not the Hokage. Yes, sir, said the ninjas as they went off to carry out their orders. Tsunade just stood there smiling as she looked at Naruto, looking over different reports that were coming in. Already he had ordered the fields that were out of use by the Akimichi clan for crop rotation to be planted so that the food supply could be brought back up as soon as possible. Naruto will make a great Hokage. Though Tsunade watched Naruto give orders to people, he was dirty and bloody just like a leader should be after a major battle. He was leading from the front, not from the rear. Strike that he will be a legendary Hokage. Then again he, Sakura, Hinata and Shikamaru are already the stuff of legends. Elsewhere, Gaara of the Desert Kazekage of the Hidden Sand Village walked through the crowded Leaf Village Hospital. Right behind him was his brother Kankura, leader of the village ANBU. I thought you were going to help protect the Leaf, asked Gaara. They can handle it, I want to make sure Temari is okay, explained Kankura. Very well, said Gaara as he reached one of the doors. He pushed the door open into a darkened room, the only light coming from the partly closed windows. They could make out Ino lying on a bed while Choji lay on the ground. Sitting on two chairs resting their heads on top of each other was their brother-in-law Shikamaru and their sister Temari. "Looks like they are sleeping," said Kankura. "What do you two want?" asked Temari as she lifted her head off her husband's head. Shikamaru followed suit and lifted his head off Temari's shoulder. "We wanted to see if you were okay," said Kankura. "I am fine, and apart from a broken leg so is the little boy," answered Temari as she stood up. Shikamaru tried to stand up only to fall back down. "The nurses put the crunches there for a reason." Shikamaru rolled his eyes as he got up on his crunches and walked toward his brothers-in-law. "So how are you two doing?" asked Temari. "We are doing better than this village is," said Kankura. "It seems like you have been through one hell of a fight." "You have no idea," said Shikamaru. "Well, I guess this is as good as time as any to tell you too, but you are going to be uncles," said Temari with a smile. "Congratulations, sister," said Gaara. "Yes, but if Nara steps out of line you know who to call, right?" said Kankura. "Kankura, you fail to realize that Shikamaru is stronger than both of us combined," said Gaara as Kankura looked at his brother and his leader. "Still, we are family," said Kankura. "We need to protect her from anything." "I don't think we have to worry about Shikamaru," said Gaara. "Yeah, besides I remember how Mom was with you," said Kankura as he looked at Gaara before looking at Shikamaru. "Let's just say Mom's attitude totally changed." "You don't have to scare my husband, Kankura," said Temari as she looked at Temari. "My mom became more mellow when she was pregnant." "Thank God," thought Shikamaru. "I heard that," added Temari using the mental link from the wolf seal. Gaara drawing in breath as he prepared to tell his brother and sister about his relationship with Matsuri. "Well," started Gaara. "I know what you are going to say, Gaara," said Kankura as Gaara looked at his brother, "and I should have come clean earlier." "What are you talking about?" asked Temari as Gaara looked at him confused. "Well, I am no longer the swinging bachelor, I have been seeing someone," said Kankura. "You the party boy of the sand," laughed Temari as she remembered her brother's reputation as both a loyal ninja and a party animal. "Yes," said Kankura, "you remember Ayamina. Isn't that the top war puppeteer in the class lower than you?" asked Temari. "Yes," said Kankura. "But you always hated her, you called her that upstart little girl playing with weapons far beyond her," said Temari. "Then I would slap you and say something about girls being able to do the same thing as boys." "Yeah, things changed with time," said Kankura. "At least they will have things to talk about, the number 1 and the number 2 puppeteers in the sand," said Shikamaru. "Which one is number 1 and which one is number 2? Asked Temari with a small laugh as her brother glared at her. "Actually, that isn't what I was going to say," said Gaara. "You didn't know about us doing it in the storage room 2 weeks ago?" asked Kankura. Flashback 2 weeks ago. "I love you," said Kankura as he ripped off Ayamina's headband from her black hair. "And I you," said Ayamina as the top female puppeteer in the sand began to assault the lips of the head of all ANBU with her own. Suddenly the doors to the storage room opened as the two of them jumped back against the wall. "Crap," whispered Kankura as he saw his brother's back walking away. End flashback. "No," said Gaara, "I need some extra paper for a report." "Oh," said Kankura, "then what did you want to say?" Before Gaara could answer, Matsuri entered the room. "Sorry to interrupt, Lord Kazekage, but wanted to inform you," started Matsuri, but she never got to finish what she was saying as Gaara decided the best way to tell his siblings was to just show them. So without saying anything he pulled Matsuri into a deep kiss, which Matsuri quickly returned. "I think that is what he wanted to tell us," said Temari as Kankura just stood there stunned at the sight of his reserved brother's open mouth kissing the head of all Jounin ninjas. Sakura had no idea how long she had been healing people. It seemed like an endless line of people. Some seemed to accept her help happily, those were the poor and the ninja corps. The middle class didn't seem to mind who was helping them as long as they got healed. It was the rich upper class which hated her. They refused her help and actually pulled away from her. Finally she looked up at the clock to the time, instantly her eyes widened at the time. 18 hours, asked Sakura as she checked another clock in the mostly empty ER room. "Yeah, You have been at this for 18 hours, said Shizun as she walked up to Sakura. We tried to pull you away a few times to give you a break, but you didn't take it. I don't remember you doing that, said Sakura as she looked out to see the darkness had already fallen over the leaf. Lady Tsunade calls that getting in the zone, said Shizun as Sakura sat down. Instantly her muscles gave out on her as if they had been screaming to give in, but she had mentally blocked it. I once saw her work 24 hours straight without a break, and she didn't have to go through a fight like you did. The next thing she knew, she felt a chakra present that she knew all too well. She looked up to see Naruto standing there. Tsunade told me to take a break, explained Naruto as Sakura found the strength to stand up and hug her husband. Sakura-chan, said Naruto as he pulled his wife close and inhaled her scent. She may have not had a true shower in over a day, and during that time she had done battle, but he didn't care. In fact, he was in the same boat as her. He had been up so long coordinating people in the search that he hadn't sat down for hours. Naruto-kun, said Sakura, I just want to see our kids. Then let's see, Tsunade is taking over for a while, said Naruto. Go, said Shizun. Thank you, said Sakura as Naruto held onto his wife as they disappeared in a flash of yellow light. It was just after sunrise as Rin Haruno awoke to find Eri and Ricky gone from the crib. Instantly her heart beat faster as she frantically started to search for her missing grandkids. Finally she opened the door to her daughter and son-in-law's bedroom and saw them sleeping there. Slowly she walked up to see something that made her heart. Sometime during the night Naruto and Sakura had come home, showered and changed before falling to sleep on the bed. They hadn't even gone under the covers. Naruto, dressed in only a pair of black shorts and a white top, slept facing his wife. Her daughter had on black shorts and a red blouse. However, the real heartwarming slight was the fact that sleeping in between them was Ricky and Eri. Their parents were holding hands over them, protecting them from anything that may be coming to harm them. Slowly Rin closed the curtain to stop the light from coming in and waking the sleeping family. Sleep well, Namikaze's family, said Rin with a smile as she closed the door so the family could get some sleep. 2 days after the attack, word had gotten around about Tsunade stepping down to let Naruto become Hokage. To Naruto's surprise, it seemed like most people didn't care about that happening. Most villagers were too busy trying to rebuild their lives and reunite with loved ones. However, Naruto had something else on his mind as he and Sakura prepared to leave. It was something they were not looking forward to. I am sorry you have to watch the kids again, Mom, said Sakura as she kissed her kids on the forehead again. I don't mind, besides a funeral is no place for 2 little kids, said Rin as Sakura nodded her head. We will be back as soon as we can, said Naruto as he placed his hand on his son's head before rubbing his finger across his sleeping daughter's face. We will be here, said Rin as Naruto and Sakura disappeared in a flash of light. They reappeared in a large room decorated with gold and silver. The beautiful decorated room didn't hide the pain in the air. Naruto and Sakura knew where they were going and made their way down the large hallway. On each of the huge marble pillars that held up the roof held a golden color flaming torch. Between each pillar was a massive stone fox statue larger than the faces on the Hokage mountain. There were some spots left open for new statues to be placed. Each one of the stone foxes had a name tag. They were the demon lords who had come before, and it was to lay another one to rest. I never thought I would be here, said Naruto as Sakura nodded her head as they entered a large circular room. Above their heads was a giant golden dome with a large skylight. The stars were clearly visible through the skylight, however that hole in the roof had a second purpose. Neither did I, said Sakura as they walked toward the center of the room. There, lying in repose, was the body of Kyubi. Around, filling every spot in the room, was a demon fox or another demon. Naruto and Sakura could see Shikamaru and Hatch standing near the front beside Hinata and the new demon lion Lord Lavi. However, the rest of the room was filled with demon foxes. I didn't think you would make it, said Shikamaru as Naruto and Sakura found their place beside him. Kyubi was my teacher, said Naruto as he found himself unable to finish the sentence. It is time, said Hatch as the sound of a large bell filled the air. Everyone turned their attention toward a large door that had remained closed. Slowly the door opened as Saito walked out from the darkness. A few feet behind him was Katara. Everyone was quiet as the two of them walked toward the center of the room. Katara stopped a few yards short of the center area, letting her future mate walk up to the remains of his father. Everyone's eyes were on Saito as she walked around his father's body before stopping at his face. Slowly he lowered his head in a vain attempt to hide his tears from the crowd. "A few days ago," started Saito. "Our lord, my father Kyuubi died at the hands of Ru the Black Flames. He died in battle against our enemies, protecting innocent lives from an ancient evil. He will be remembered. He will be remembered," stated everyone in the hall as 4 members of the Demon Royal Guards walked forward. They poured oil on Kyuubi's body before walking away. "He is with my mother and my sister along with his and my ancestor," said Saito as he prepared for what was called for my tradition. "He will spend the rest of time with them, and now we grant his body to the flames and to the ages." With that, Saito lowered his head before breathing out a jet of fire hitting his father's body. Instantly the oil caught fire as the Kyuubi's body began to be cremated before everyone, just like the demon lords of old. People cried as the smoke began to rise out of the skylight. All over the city, demon foxes who had been unable to get into the temple watched as the smoking carrying the last physical part of their lord disappeared in the sky to join the stars. As the flames raged, Saito spoke again. "Let this flame be a sign of the way our lord lived, how much passion he had for his people," said Saito as he looked into the flames. Let us dedicate ourselves to following in Lord Kyuubi's example," said Katara as everyone looked at her. It was uncommon for anyone apart from the family to speak at a demon funeral. However, she would soon be their queen, so it was overlooked. "Yes, let us dedicate ourselves to following the Kyuubi's example and work toward peace for not only our generation and our world but for all worlds and all generations," said Saito as the flames kept going as more and more of the Kyuubi disappeared into smoke. Suddenly the bell began to ring as the Kyuubi disappeared. For the longest time the only sounds people heard were the sound of tears. Then slowly, one by one, people began to walk from the back of the room to the front, passing the burnt body of the Kyuubi before leaving. Soon only the High Lords remained as the flames died down as the body of the Kyuubi turned into ash before blowing away. "You did good, Lord Saito," said Katara's dad Gyakko. "You don't have to call me Lord," said Saito, "you are the father of my future mate." "You are still our lord," said Gyakko, "only my daughter is allowed not to call you Lord." "I thank you all for coming," said Saito as he looked at Naruto and Sakura. "He was my teacher," said Naruto. "No," said Saito, "in a way he was like an uncle to you, and I consider you not only a friend of Naruto but as a family member." "Very good, my young counterpart," said Hachi as Saito looked up at one of his father's oldest friends and the only living demon lord on their side. "I know my father would be happy to have you here," said Saito. "We were friends and I will miss him," said Hachi as he looked toward where Kyuubi's body was burned into ash. "I hate to break this up, but we have somewhere we need to be," said Lavi as Saito nodded his head. "Let's go," said Saito as they left the room past the newest statue. For a moment Naruto stopped to look at the massive stone statue of the Kyuubi. Unlike the other statues which had the dead lord standing before the fox village or in some heroic pose, the Kyuubi's was simple. He stood there in a protective stance, his tail spread out. Behind him Naruto could make out the image of the Hokage mountain. Below his name was a title given to him by Saito. Most of the time they were named the Great or the Fearless. "Kyuubi the Protector," whispered Naruto, "you saved all of us from Ru, and I will make sure the villagers understand that." It took them only a few minutes for them to leave the temple of the Demon Fox. All over the Demon Fox village foxes were in mourning, but there was still work to be done. Soon they entered a huge room to find the leader of the demon sharks, Nico, waiting for them. His skin was covered with scars from the battle he had waged against Hachi. Even part of his dorsal fin was bitten off. Beside him was the new lord of the demon snakes, Bilal. The two of them sat on one side of the table and behind them stood 2 guards each. Kuya the White Flame sat in the center of the table. The demon scorpions were not represented in the meeting room since the war had all but officially ended. They had broken out into a civil war for control of the lordship. "It is time that we end this," said Nico as Saito took his seat. Behind him stood Naruto, Sakura and Katara. Hatch High took his place in the middle of the side with Shikamaru standing behind him. Finally Lavi took his seat with Hinata in the background. "Yes, it is," said Hatch High. "Good, then we can finally end this war officially," said Kuya as she took on the role of the peace talks, a role that the death god had taken during the last war. "Let's begin with the basic items, the winners and the losers." "It is clear that we won this war," said Hatch High as he took the lead in the talks. "You may have won the 2 battles, but we could easily keep the war going," said Nico. "No, the war is over. You may try to wage it, but I will stop you," said Kuya. "I think we just return to normal, nothing more. Everything is the same as it was before the war," said Bilal. "No, we lost too much to have it be for nothing," said Saito. "I agree," said La6 as Hatch High nodded his head. "You sent us into war, cost thousands of lives, both demons and humans, and risked the entire world. You must pay for it." "Fine, we will give you some of the land around our borders," said Bilal. "You mean the swamp land marks the border between the fox and the snake lands?" asked Saito as Bilal nodded his snake head. "You know full well that land is useless to everyone, apart from you." "Fine, how about the mountains on the border with the wolves?" asked Bilal. "Those are the lands we had to give up during the last war," said Hatch High as he remembered how much minerals were in those mountains. "We will give you back all the land we got from you in the last war," said Nico. Saito and the other demons knew that they had to give up around a quarter of their land when they almost lost the last war. "Very well," said Lavi. "I agree to that," said Hatch High. "So do I. However, what about the humans? They deserve to get something out of this," said Saito. "They deserve to get nothing, they are a lower race," said Nico as the other demons looked at him as if they wanted to kill him more than normally did. "You caused them pain and death, you owe them something," said Lavi. "If I can make a subjection," said Kuya as the demons looked at her, "let them have more demon summoners." "What are you talking about?" asked Saito. "For example, at the moment Naruto and Sakura are the demon summoners of the foxes. Their kids have some demon chakra in them, but when they are older they will not be able to summon a demon fox," said Kuya. "I think instead of 4 summoners total, each demon race should get their own clan of humans that can summon them into battle." "I don't think so. If a clan grows too large there could be hundreds of demon summoners," said Nico. "Then how about just making it the main houses?" said Hinata as the demons looked at her. "That way we can have more demon summoners and yet it will never reach a huge amount." The Hyuga had the largest main house and they had only about a dozen people total, and most of them were older people. "That is agreeable," said Bilal. "If the humans agree to it then it shall be done," said Nico. "One last thing, we don't want you going around and picking a human family to be your clan summons," said Saito. "That isn't fair, Saito," said Kuya. "We need to keep the balance." "Then how about they can't pick a human summoner family for 10 years, said Naruto. "We don't really want humans to summon us, but we will agree to this," said Nico. "If we do this we don't want small human fighting to cause another war," said Hatch High, "so I think we need to add to the code, if 2 human demon summoners fight it shall not lead to a demon war unless it goes too far." "How do we define too far?" asked Saito, "because if Naruto's family or the Leaf Village is attacked the foxes will come to their aid." "We will cross that bridge when we come to that, but let's agree to the outline here and now," said Lavi. "We can work out the details as we go." "Agreed," said Nico. "Then we are in agreement," said Kuya. "The Namikaze clan will become the summoner clan of the foxes until either the clan dies out or the foxes take away their summoning pack. The wolves can be summoned by the Nara main house until the family dies out or they take away the summoning pack." "Does that mean Temari will become a demon summoner like me?" asked Shikamaru. "Yes, all you will have to do is bite down on the mating spot one more time and transfer more demon chakra into her." "Will it hurt our baby?" asked Shikamaru. "No," said Hatch High. "It will allow your child to have more demon chakra in him or her, but nothing more." "Naruto, Sakura, you will have to transfer some demon chakra into your kids to make them full demon summoners, said Saito. What about Sasuke and Karen's son, said Naruto as everyone looked at him. What about the human child, asked Bilal. We want him back home in the leaf, said Naruto. Sure, take the kid, we were planning to kill him, said Bilal. Don't, said Naruto. He is a demon snake summoner, we can do as we please, said Bilal. No you can't, said Naruto. Naruto, what are you doing, asked Shikamaru. Naruto and I have already talked about this, said Sakura, we need to bring Sasuke's son back to the leaf. Sasuke may have been evil but he was still our teammate and you know the code of the Leaf Ninja Corps. Yeah, said Shikamaru as he lowered his head as he remembered a line from the code. Before that line meant almost nothing to him, but now that he was becoming a father it meant more to him. If a ninja dies it will be their teammates to tell his family, and if no family is left it is their duty to care for the dead teammates' kids. Naruto, I know you want to do that but it is Sasuke's kid, said Lavi. He is nothing but trouble, he may be better dead. We can't blame the sins of the father on the son, said Naruto, that kid is innocent of everything Sasuke or his mother did. If that is what you want, said Kuya. It is, said Sakura, knowing the burden it would bring on her and Naruto to take care of another kid. Fine, we will give you the kid, said Bilal. I hate to stop this but Naruto, you know the council will never let you raise the son of another council clan member, said Hinata. They would think you are setting up for a takeover of the council. We will think of something, said Sakura, but that kid will be looked after. Also, what about the fact he is a demon snake summoner, said Saito. Can we remove the demon chakra from him, asked Sakura. Not unless he gives it up willing, and at that age he can't. However, we can cut him off from summoning demon snakes. He will have their chakra but not the ability to summon them, said Kuya. We wouldn't want him anyhow, we would want someone stronger than a simple kid, said Bilal, if we want any humans at all. Very well, and then the Inuzuka clan will have. Started Kuya. Wait, said Hinata. What is it, asked Kuya. You're about to give my clan the lion summons, right? asked Hinata as Kuya nodded her head. Don't. What? asked Lavi. My mate's clan is aligned with the dogs. To have the main house have the aligned with the lions would cause a break within the clan, said Hinata. What do you want to do? asked Kuya. Give it to my cousin Niji and his family, said Hinata. The Hyuga clan doesn't have any alignment so it will not cause any problems. Also, with my father gone they aren't the same SOBs that they were before. Very well, you will still keep your demon summoner ability, and if the Hyuga clan and Lavi agree then they will become the demon lion summoners clan. Then we agreed, said Bilal as he turned to one of the guards. Bring the human child. Yes sir, said the snake as he disappeared in a flash of light. A few seconds later he reappeared with a little boy by his. The kid had a haunted look on his face, there was no joy in his red eyes. Naruto couldn't help but think of what sort of negativity the boy had gone through since Karen's death. Sasuke was never the nurturing type and neither were the snakes. Here is the human, he is all yours, said Bilal as he and the other demon left. Slowly Sakura and Naruto walked over. Hello, what is your name? asked Naruto to the kid, who was maybe 2 or 3 years old. Fugaku, answered the boy in a scared tone as if he was afraid to speak. Please don't hit me. Why would we hit you? asked Sakura. Daddy hits me if I haven't gotten better with my ninja skills, and I haven't, said Fugaku. You are already training to be a ninja? asked Naruto. When did you start? Since I was 1, said Fugaku. Are you going to hit me? No, said Sakura, and no one will hit you ever again. Now let's get you to a safe place. All right, said Fugaku as he slowly took Sakura's hand. Naruto sat in the waiting room. The room had multiple chairs for him to sit down in, but he knew he couldn't force himself to sit down. He knew that inside the room next door Tsunade and his wife were making the case before the council to let him take the Hokage's chair. Naruto, we are ready for you, said Kakashi as he opened a door as Naruto walked into the council room. Sitting before him were all the council members, most of them were friends of his or other people he was friends with. In the center of the long half-circle table stood Tsunade. Behind her was the huge leaf flag. Naruto turned his attention to the far side of the table. Sitting on the edge of the table was the current head of the council, Inoichi Yamanaka. Beside him sat Asuma, head of the oldest clan in the Leaf, the Sarutobi clan. Shikamaru's Ino and Choji's sensei had gone into a semi-retirement a few years ago to raise his sons. Somehow he had also quit smoking. Well, partly, he had an unlit cigarette in his mouth. "Something to crew on," he said. Next to him sat his wife, Sakura-chan. He couldn't help himself from looking at her. He knew that she had been making the case for him with all the passion she had. "You look good, Naruto-kun," thought Sakura inside Naruto's head. "Thanks, Sakura-chan," said Naruto back as he looked beside his wife to see Neji sitting there with his arms crossed beside him as if he was thinking. Naruto knew that even though Neji may want to vote for him, he had to follow the will of the majority of the Hyuga clan. A change from the old days when the head of the main house could do what they wanted. Beside Neji sat Shino. It was as hard as ever to read what was happening behind those black sunglasses. It also didn't help that the Aburame clan wasn't known for their talking ability. Next to him, standing at the head of the council, was Tsunade. To her left was his only clear enemy since Choji was still in the hospital. Choza had retaken the council seat. He had an evil look on his face, like he blamed Naruto for everything. Next to her came the other two demon summoners on the council, Hinata and Shikamaru. Since Kiba was in the hospital, Hinata sat at the head of the Inuzuka clan. The report had come out that Tsum had died in a building collapse during the battle, but Naruto thought otherwise. Tsum's body was found too far away from the blast zone. Little did he know the truth. Only the upper members of the clan knew that Kiba's half-brother had killed her in self-defense. To protect the Inuzuka clan from splitting, a cover-up was put in place. Next to her sat Shikamaru with his hand crossed in his classic thinking pose. Beside him was the only open spot left open, the Uchiha clan spot. Well, Naruto and Sakura had brought the only living Uchiha home. He was too young to take the chair, his fate was still in the air. Finally, in a side set that had been set up for the vote was his old sensei Kakashi. For once in his life he wasn't late or looking into that perverted book of his. He was there to say where the villagers and the ninja corps wanted to be the Hokage. They had voted the day before to say if they wanted Naruto to be the Hokage or not. Naruto knew that of the 12 votes he needed 9 to become the Hokage, and with no Uchiha clan to vote yes or no, it meant that if he got 3 votes against him he would be denied the Hokage chair. "Naruto Altair Namikaze, do you have anything to say before we cast our votes?" said Tsunade. "Yes," said Naruto as he looked at the people who had gathered in the balcony. They had filled the balcony. He could see Gaara and his siblings sitting beside his mother-in-law, who was holding his kids. Beside them was a man with thick black hair and a woman with snow-white hair. "So you did make it after all, Saito and Katara." The rest of the village was gathered outside waiting to see how the vote would come. They could hear Naruto's and the others' voices due to the microphones that had been set up to the speakers spread out over the leaf. Normally a new Hokage would be a happy moment, but they were still less than a week out from the attack, and while Kuya had filled in the hole that her brother had caused with earth, the village was still over half destroyed. "No matter what happen, I will still protect this village to my dying breath," said Naruto. "I know you will," said Tsunade, "and since I offered you up to take my spot, I will cast the first vote, and that vote is a yes. Next will be the head of the council, then we will go in a randomly drawn order." Naruto had to fight back the need to roll his eyes at random order, but it was tradition from the first Hokage and it wasn't going to end now. "Naruto Namikaze," said Inoichi as he took to his feet. "My clan has some worries about your leadership skills from experiences we had with you as a kid." Crap, thought Naruto. However, you are no longer a kid and those voices within the Yamanaka clan are few and far between, said Inoichi, so it is with great honor that my clan cast the first vote in favor of Naruto Namikaze becoming the 6th Hokage of the Hidden Leaves. Naruto let out a breath as he wondered if people outside were jumping for joy or crying because he was one step closer to becoming Hokage. Next was drawn the Uchiha clan, and since they can't vote they will be counted as a no vote, explained Inoichi, so the next vote belongs to the Nara clan. Thank you, said Shikamaru as he stood up. Naruto, we have fought beside each other more times than most. We share a bond not only because we are both demon summoners but because you are the fox demon summoner and I am the wolf. As demon summoner cousins, my clan votes yes to your appointment of Hokage of the Hidden Leaves. Thank you, Shikamaru, said Naruto. It isn't over yet, Naruto, said Shikamaru as he turned to look at Asuma as he stood up. Naruto Namikaze, said Asuma, my father, the third Hokage, knew that someday you would replace him, and I nor any other member of my clan will stand in that way. The founding clan of the Leaf Village, the Sarutobi clan, votes for your confirmation as the Hokage. May you wear the robes proudly. Naruto couldn't help but smile. He had 4 votes in his favor and 1 no vote. Slowly Shino stood up as he looked Naruto in the eyes. Naruto Namikaze, you are one of my only friends, said Shino as Naruto smiled, and this hurts me so much to do. Instantly Naruto's eyes widened as his heart stopped. Our clan carried out a vote earlier today. With a vote of 57% to 43%, I regrettably must vote against your confirmation, said Shino. I wish I could turn against my clan on this vote, but I must respect their wishes. I would rather vote yes, so the Aburame clan votes no. Sorry, Naruto. That is okay, Shino, said Naruto as he tried not to look at the smile on Choza's face. He only needed 2 more votes to stop Naruto from becoming the Hokage, and he knew he would vote no, so only 1 would be needed. Slowly Hinata stood up as she turned to look at Naruto. Naruto, we are family, comrades and demon summoners together, said Hinata. The grand pack of the Inuzuka clan is behind you, Naruto. May you lead the leaf into a new age. Naruto had to do a quick ment count in his head. So far he had 6 out of the 11 votes in his favor, with 4 yet to be cast. 1 was a no vote and the other was against vote. He needed 3 of the last 4 to be in his favor, and 1 of the 4 left was Choza, which was a sure no vote. Then there was Kakashi with the village popular vote. That would be the key to know if he were to take the Hokage position. Naruto snapped out of these thoughts as Neji rose to his feet. Naruto, before the Namikaze clan was the enemy of the Hyuga clan, said Neji. Those days are gone. The Hyuga clan throws its lot in with Naruto Namikaze. Finally it is my turn, said Choza as he stood up as Naruto turned to look at Choza. Naruto Namikaze, a member of my clan, wants you to become Hokage. Naruto's eyes widened at the news. However, I know you and you demon kind, said Choza, and I will not let this happen. So I stand against the Namikaze clan and the demons. I will go against the will of my clan and vote no. What are you doing, Choza? You can't vote against the wishes of your own clan, said Inoichi. Your clan always decides by popular vote within your clan. Watch me, snapped Choza. You know full well that the majority of the clan voted for Naruto, yelled Ino from the stands. I don't consider 51% a majority, said Choza. Now sit down. You may be my son's wife and mother of my future grandchild, but you, like everyone else who voted for this demon child, is a fucking idiot. Choza, yelled Tsunade as Choza looked at the Hokage. Tsunade was grinding her teeth at what Choza had just pulled, but there was nothing she could do about it. You cannot curse in this place. Fine, said Choza with a smile as he turned and looked at Naruto. Know this, demon, you will never be the Hokage of the Leaf. I believe it is up to the people of the Leaf to decide that, said Kakashi as he stood up. Kakashi Hatake is here, casting the combined votes of the Ninja Corps and the villagers. Naruto braced himself. By a vote of 77% to 23%, the people of the Leaf Village, said Kakashi as he looked at Naruto, throw their will behind Naruto Namikaze. Naruto's eyes widened as Choza looked stunned at the news. This can't be, said Choza. Yes, it can, said Tsunade as Naruto turned to the last person to vote. They're waiting to cast the final vote. The one to make him Hokage was his wife, his mate, the woman he loved, Sakura. This must be fate, Naruto-kun, said Sakura with a smile as she stood up. Well, it will likely mean more work for both of us raising our kids. The Namikaze clan throws their vote behind the current head of the clan, the son of the fourth Hokage Minato Namikaze, my husband Naruto Namikaze. Congratulations Naruto-kun. Thank you Sakura-chan, said Naruto as he sat down. Naruto Namikaze, please step forward, said Tsunade as Naruto stepped forward before going down on one knee before Tsunade. By a vote of 9-2 with one no vote, I have the great honor of naming you to take my place as the Hokage of the Hidden Leaf. Naruto felt as Tsunade placed the hat of the Hokage on his head. Rise Naruto Namikaze, the sixth Hokage of the Hidden Leaf, said Tsunade as he stood up. The moment he was on his feet he felt a pair of arms wrapped around his body. Congratulations Naruto-kun, said Sakura as she hugged her husband as people clapped around them. Now the hard part is giving a speech to the village, thought Sakura to Naruto as he groaned a bit. He knew he wasn't that good at public speaking. Slowly Naruto walked toward the top of the Hokage building with the council in tow. It took them only a few minutes for them to reach the top of the Hokage building. Naruto's eyes widened as he looked at the massive number of people who had gathered. He could make out a few upset faces, but it seemed like the majority was happy to see him standing there. However, from his location he could see the massive battlefield. He could see the remains of once great buildings that stood as a silent reminder of that night. He knew he had a lot of work in front of him as he went up to the microphone. A little bit over a week ago, we humans found ourselves in the middle of the final battle of a demon war that is now over. From the clash our village suffered the worst attack that any village thought out history has taken and survived, said Naruto. We survived because we were protected not only by our ninja corps, who bravely went into battle to protect their loves, or even one or our demon allies, which one surfaced himself to protect our people from an ancient evil. We were protected by our spirits. It is that spirit that makes the leaf different from any other village. Every generation is stronger than the last, said Naruto. Each generation proves its strength in different ways. My father's generation fought and died during the Third Great Ninja War. We made it through this battle and we are stronger because of it. We are stronger because while our buildings may be shaken or even fall in a war, that spirit can never be broken. Naruto paused for a moment before speaking again. I have had 3 dreams for my life. One is to marry the woman I love, said Naruto as he turned and looked at Sakura, who was holding both their kids. The second was to have a family with her. Those 2 dreams have come true. The last dream was to become Hokage. Maybe it was the fact that I was young that I didn't realize the truth. That being Hokage isn't what I should be striving for. What are you saying Naruto? Thought Sakura. My dream should have been to be the best Hokage I can be so that your dreams and your children's dreams can come true, said Naruto. Now together let us rebuild our home in the memory of those who we all have lost. Naruto waited for a moment, wondering if the crowd would turn against him. Slowly it started with a single clapping sound, then it spread like wildfire until it seemed like the entire village was clapping and cheering. Great job Naruto-kun, said Sakura as she walked forward to stand next to her husband. The real hard stuff is still ahead of us, Sakura-chan, said Naruto as he took Riki into his arms as Sakura held on to Eri. But for tonight at least the village can cut loose. For that night the people of the Leaf forgot about the challenge before them and what they had lost. They were celebrating the naming of a new Hokage. The next day Naruto sat down in his new Hokage chair and prepared to start his first day as the leader of the Leaf Village. He knew he had a lot of work to do. First was the task of rebuilding everything that had been destroyed in the demon attack. Outside the window he could already see people at work building homes and stores. While the physical structures were easy enough to build, he knew it would take time to rebuild everyone's lives, but in time he knew that the village would come back. He had already had a small clash against the council. That clash was centered around the fate of Sasuke's kid. Flashback. What do you mean we can't take him in? Asked Naruto as he looked at Shikamaru. Naruto had just become Hokage and they were currently in the Hokage's office. The council doesn't want a future council member to be raised by another council member, said Shikamaru. That is bullshit. What about the ninja code? Asked Naruto. That is why the council will allow you to do the same thing with him as the third Hokage did with you, said Shikamaru. You mean act like a father figure for him but never be a father to him? Asked Naruto. Yes, said Shikamaru. I love the third for what he did, but it will never make up for a real father, said Naruto. I know, but maybe together we can fill the void, said Shikamaru. What are you talking about? Asked Naruto. I talked it over with everyone, said Shikamaru. While you and Sakura may have been the true teammates of Sasuke, but in a way everyone in the Rookie 12 are teammates with Sasuke. We all share the burden of caring for this child. Maybe all of us can fill the void left by the loss of both parents. End flashback. Maybe Shikamaru was right and the 11 of them can fill the void left from losing your parents. However, Naruto was going to make sure the last Uchiha was well taken care of. He wouldn't go hungry like he had. From his location, Naruto could already see the new apartment complex rising up from the remains of the Uchiha compound. Ru had flattened the entire Uchiha compound. Naruto had ordered that housing to be built on the spot. The profits from the land would go straight to Fugaku when he got older. On top of that, he would be getting the best house on the compound. Taking care of Fugaku wasn't the only thing on his mind. He knew that the enemy demons and the Akatsuki were now gone, and even with the demons in a weakened state, that no village within their right mind would dare attack them or their allies. However, news was coming in of tension building between the land of lightning and the land of waves. Then there was the mad rush to take over the land that used to belong to the destroyed Earth village. This rush could lead to a new war. However, the main threat still came from Kabuto, which hadn't been seen in years, but snakes always seem to pop up when you don't want them and when they can cause the most damage. Suddenly Naruto noticed something he should have noticed a while ago. No one was moving it outside his window. It was as if time was frozen in place. What the? Asked Naruto as he reached for his new sword. Do not worry, Naruto Namikaze, said Kuya as Naruto turned to see her standing in front of his desk. Why are you here? Asked Naruto. I thought you were going to seal yourself back up in the sun. I come to give you a warning, said Kuya. A warning of what? Asked Naruto. You think this war is over, but you are wrong, said Kuya as Naruto's eyes widened. But we sealed Ru back up and the demons are at peace again, said Naruto. You think my brother is the worst there is in the world? Then you are mistaken, said Kuya. There are forces much stronger than him and even more evil. And they are coming? Asked Naruto. You just don't understand, do you, Namikaze? Said Kuya. The war never ends. It takes only one human doing something like Madara did to cause the end of the world. There may be peace now, but someday some human will open a door that should stay closed and unleash a force that has been dormant since the beginning of time. Forces much stronger than even me. If this whole incident with my brother has proven to you humans is that the old legends have bits of truth in them, and someone will go after those legends and open the door to the end. When will this happen? Asked Naruto. It may be happening right now, or it may not happen until after the human race has died and a new race has taken its place, but in the end it will happen. It is an inescapable fact, said Kuya. So what should I do? Asked Naruto as Kuya looked at the photo on Naruto's desk of his family before picking it up. For a moment she looked at the image before putting it back in its place. Hold each moment because they will never come again, said Kuya with a smile as she disappeared in a flash of burning golden light. The moment she was gone, everything started moving again. The sixth Hokage, Naruto Namikaze, lay half asleep in his bed. It was Sunday, one of the few days he had off. He could feel the sun just rising over the leaf, and he knew that soon his children would be up and running around like crazy 2-year-olds. It had been over 2 years since he had become Hokage, and some days he really hated it, but most of the time he loved it. The days he hated normally involved one clan fighting with another over some stupid little thing. One job they never tell Hokages is the fact that behind the scenes you serve as a mediator between the clans to things as stupid as changing the paint on a house that is on the border of clan lands to dividing up land in a dispute. However, his problems had gotten better since Choza Akimichi suffered a fatal heart attack only a few months into his leadership. He knew it was wrong for him to be glad to see the old man die, but he just couldn't help it. Maybe it had to do with the fact that his only son didn't really seem upset by the loss of his dad. Maybe it had to do with the fact that his and Ino's daughter was born 3 days later, which lightened his mood. Flashback. Naruto was sitting behind his desk just filling out paperwork. Unlike the last Hokage, Naruto was actually up to speed on paperwork. That may have to do with the fact that he used shadow clones to help him keep up with the paperwork. Also, only a month after the end of the war, Lightning and Mist went to war. Technically it was over a small island near the coast that both nations claim as their own. Unofficially it was over control of the land in Earth Country. Both nations along with many smaller nations had sent settlers into the land to claim it. The Leaf and the Sand were the only ones not to send groups in to settle. This may have to do with the fact that the Leaf had taken such a hit during the war and the Sand always had the smallest population, so they didn't need the land. That fact meant that all the genin missions were limited to the nearby area. Those genin missions were always the longest to read since they included reports not only on the mission but the reports on the genin themselves. It was about quitting time, so slowly he stood up and went to grab his jacket from its spot behind his chair. As he put on the jacket he noticed Ino being rushed into the hospital just across the street from him. Instantly he knew what was going on. "Going home, Lord Hokage?" asked a Jonin, and Naruto shook his head. "No, it looks like there is going to be a new member of the Akimichi clan today," said Naruto as he left the office to join his friends in waiting for Ino's and Choji's daughter to be born. End flashback. The birth of little Fiorella Akimichi brought a little light into the Akimichi clan after the death of Choza. However, as everyone who has seen the little girl has stated, she looks just like Ino as a baby. A few months later, in late January, a new demon wolf summoner joined the Leaf as Shikamaru and Tamari's after the ancient sand word for dawn, so Agon Nara was born. Flashback. "So a boy?" asked Naruto as he looked at a tired-looking Shikamaru as the sun was rising over the Leaf. The boy who was named after the dawn was born at dawn. "Yes," said Shikamaru. "You know, I could pull the same thing Ino pulled on Sakura, joking that her daughter would marry my son, but I am not going to do that," said Naruto. "You just did," said Shikamaru, "besides Choji beat you to the punch with that. I think it is just what parents do to their friends when they have kids," said Naruto as he leaned back in the chair a bit and watched as Ino, Sakura and Tamari passed the sleeping Agon around. "At least he seems to have a tendency to sleep," said Choji the moment he finished. Agon started to cry. "You just had to say that, didn't you?" asked Shikamaru. End flashback. It seems like everything was changing, but yet it wasn't. Still, after 2 years they were still rebuilding everything lost during the war. However, the generation was growing up fast. Eri and Ricky were running around and jumping off the walls like crazy 2-year-olds. Combined that with a 20-month-old Fiorella and a 17-month-old Agon meant that all the parents had a lot to deal with. The good thing about having all the kids around the same age is the fact it allows them to share the babysitting duty. "I better get up," thought Naruto as he went to stand up, only to find himself pinned by his wife Sakura. "I don't think so," thought Sakura back as she rolled over on top of her husband, resting her forehead on top of Naruto's forehead as she pinned him down. Her green eyes burned with passion that Naruto knew all too well. "Sakura-chan, the kids will be up soon," said Naruto as placed his hand on his wife's side and started to move his hands up her side, feeling her through her thin red top. "I know," said Sakura with a smile before she leaned forward and placed her mouth by Naruto's ear. "And in a little bit under 9 months we will have 3 kids running around the house." Instantly Naruto's eyes widened as he looked into his wife's smiling face. "You're pregnant?" asked Naruto. "Yes, and before you asked, Katara pulled her chakra sensing trick to find out I am only having one this time," said Sakura as she felt her husband's hand on her stomach. "Wow," said Naruto as he tried to take it in. Even though they already had 2 kids, it was still hard for him to get his mind around the fact that their family was growing again. 9 months later, Naruto's and Sakura's newest baby was born, Kadan Kane Namikaze. A beautiful boy with deep blonde hair and blue eyes. He would be joined a little bit over 3 years later by the last member of the new member of the Namikaze clan, Leiharin Namikaze, a girl who had both her mother's deep green eyes and the pink hair which was the trademark of the Haruno clan. Naruto sat at his Hokage desk waiting for a moment he had been fearing for almost 9 years. He looked toward a photo on his desk to see his family looking back at him. For the past 8 years he had served the Leaf Village as Hokage. The 24-year-old young man had grown to be a 32-year-old leader of his village. He had watched his 2 oldest kids grow from birth to the point where next year they would enter the 3-year school program that would turn them from kids to ninjas. Only 3 years behind them his youngest son was, and then came his little girl. They were all growing up so fast. Then again, I am not the only one who is shocked by their growth, thought Naruto as he looked at a photo of the Rookie 12 that was still hanging on a nearby wall. Right beside it was a similar photo. There stood the remains of the Rookie 12 plus their kids. Aside from the 4 that Naruto and Sakura had, there were another 3 Nara kids. Shikamaru's firstborn boy was joined by 2 sisters. Apart from having their father's black hair, the sisters looked like perfect matches of their mother, just like Shikamaru's son looked like him. The only difference was instead of black hair he had his mother's blonde and her eyes. Choji's and Ino's had another child, a boy who looked like his father, however the same couldn't be said about his little girl. In every way she looked like her mother. It was actually very scary. Kiba and Hinata had 2 little boys aged 7 and 3, both had their father's brown hair and face marks. Beside the 2 kids Kiba and Hinata was Niji and Tenten with their son and daughter. Finally at the end of the line was a red-haired young man, Fugaku. "It is time," said Sakura, who was at her side as Naruto turned his gaze back to the door. The doors opened to see a young red-haired 12-year-old. His blood-red hair and red eyes matched his mother, but his face and bone structure was a dead ringer for his father. The council had ordered him not to tell him the truth about his father, but that was about to change. "Lord Hokage," said Fugaku as the newly mid-genin went down on one knee in front of Hokage. "Fugaku, you don't have to call me Hokage," said Naruto with a smile as Fugaku smiled. Naruto closed his eyes hoping that Fugaku wouldn't lose his smile when he learned the truth. "Yes, Mr. Namikaze," said Fugaku as he stood up. "Now why did you want to see me?" "Fugaku, it is time you learned the truth," said Naruto. "The truth of what?" asked Fugaku. "Your parents," said Sakura. "What? I am an orphan." "You two and your friends found the remains of the Rock Village," said Fugaku as he repeated the story that was told to him by the Leaf Council. "No," said Naruto, "the council stopped me from telling you the truth. You are from the Leaf." "I am?" asked Fugaku. "Yes, and apart from your red hair and eyes you are a perfect match to your father," said Naruto. "You knew my father?" asked Fugaku. "We all did," said Shikamaru as he and the other Rookie 12 entered the room. Fugaku. "Your father is Sasuke Uchiha," said Naruto as Fugaku looked at him. "What?" asked Fugaku as he tried to process the information. "No, I am loyal to the Leaf. I can't be the son of the greatest traitor in Leaf Village history, just above his brother Itachi." "Yes you are," said Naruto, "you are the son of Sasuke and Karen Uchiha." "No," said Fugaku, "I refuse to believe it." "Fugaku, if you don't believe me, at least believe in yourself," said Naruto. "What?" asked Fugaku. "Take a look at the mirror," said Sakura as Fugaku looked toward a small mirror only to see his eyes were still red but only they had black commas in them. "What is this?" asked Fugaku. "The Sharingan, the legendary bloodline ability of the Uchiha clan," explained Naruto. "I am not surprised it activated now. It activates in times of stress such as battles, and this moment is stressful," said Sakura. "No, I am not a Uchiha. I do not want to be a Uchiha," said Fugaku as he ran for the open window, jumping out the window as he headed across the rooftops. "I will take care of it," said Naruto as he stood up and headed off after the distance from Genin. He knew where he was going. In some ways it was appropriate that in the same spot where Sasuke had decided to turn against the Leaf, Naruto would have to pick up the last pieces of that mistake. "I can't be," snapped Fugaku as he stood in the same tree where his father had run into the Sound 4 and where he decided to betray the Leaf. "I am a member of the Leaf. I am not an Uchiha. Why can't you be both? Asked Naruto as Fugaku looked up at Naruto, who was laying on a long branch with his back against the trunk. Lord Hokage, how could you hide this from me? How could you let me into your house all those times when I am the son of the greatest enemies of the leaf? I should have been killed on the spot, said Fugaku. I didn't see Sasuke the traitor, I saw Sasuke, my friend and my teammate, answered Naruto. I saw what Sasuke would have been if he hadn't had such a tough life. It doesn't matter if everyone knows how you were raised alone and then came out good, said Fugaku. So my father, like his brother, was just born evil, just like I may be evil. I don't think anyone is born evil or good. I feel it is a person's choices that make them, said Naruto as he looked at the young Uchiha. Your father made a lot of wrong choices, but that doesn't change the fact that he is my friend. Is? Asked Fugaku. We may have hated each other, tried to kill each other so many times I lost count, but he is my friend, said Naruto with a smile before looking toward a nearby rooftop. I remember how we did battle on that rooftop, my Rasengan versus his Chidori. I remember how he almost killed me at the Valley of the End not once but twice, the war and the final moment I saw when he blew himself up in a giant fireball that was meant for me. I hated his living guts, but I never enjoyed fighting anyone as much as him. He drove me to my best and I miss him to this day. I don't understand how you could miss him, said Fugaku. Few people understand because most people never had an enemy that was also their friend, said Naruto. I just fear that I will do the same thing as my father. I am his son, said Fugaku. I don't believe that, said Naruto as Fugaku looked at him. A father and a son share a strong bond, but it isn't unbeatable. I mean, you know about my son Kadan. Yeah, said Fugaku, he wants to be a doctor just like his mother. He doesn't want to fight people like his two older siblings, he wants to save people in the hospital just like his mother, said Naruto. But my mother is just as evil as my father, said Fugaku. The point of my story isn't that a child must follow in the path of a parent, but that a child can do what they want, said Naruto as he stood up. Fugaku, you are your father's son, you can walk the path that Sasuke should have taken, you can overcome the curse of the Uchiha. Thank you for your help, Lord Hokage, said Fugaku. All I did was put words to what is in your heart, Fugaku, said Naruto with a smile. That is all I did. Naruto Namikaze stood in a large group of people. For once he wasn't the Hokage of the Hidden Leaf, he was the father of two very happy kids. I did it, yelled 12-year-old Eri Namikaze, sounding a lot like her father as she jumped up and down in joy. Over the past few years she had been taking more and more attitude traits from her father. When she and her brother were babies she had been the mellow one, going to bed easily and sleeping through the night. Now she was the hipper, while her brother Ricky had mellowed out and took on more altitude traits of his mother. She had on an orange short-sleeved top with a pair of tan shorts, her blonde hair was pulled back into a short ponytail, and however she was known to undo the ponytail, unlike her best friend, Fiorella Akamaru. Calm down, Eri, said Ricky as he looked at his slightly older sister. Come on, Ricky, don't tell me you are not happy to finally be ninjas, said Eri as she smiled just like her father does. Yes, but you don't have to jump up and down like an idiot, said Ricky. Ricky, she is just like your father, that is all, said Sakura as Naruto got behind Ricky and rubbed the top of his son's head, shaking his red spiky hair around. He had on a blue top with a pair of black pants. Around both of their necks, like all Namikaze, was the metal fox necklace that the Kyuubi had given them at birth. Saito had kept the new tradition up with the birth of the next two Namikaze. Come on, lighten up, big brother, said 9-year-old Kadan Namikaze as he stood beside his father. Sakura couldn't help but smile. If Ricky looked like Naruto only with red hair and green eyes, then Kadan looked like Naruto's younger clone. He even had the whisker marks of his father. They were so faded that they were almost invisible, but they were there. And like his father and older sister, he loved the color orange. However, while Eri didn't wear orange all time like Kadan does. He even had his room painted bright orange, which drove Sakura crazy, while Naruto laughed at his son. I am Kadan, laughed Ricky as he playfully poked his little brother in the side. And when we get home I will use my new ninja skills to tickle you until you cry. I would like to see you try, said Kadan with a laugh. Boys, said the youngest Namikaze Leha as the 6-year-old little girl tried to sound as mature as possible. They will never grow up. You are one to talk, Leha, said Kadan as he went into Big Brother mode. You can't fall asleep unless a night light is on. And you couldn't sleep without your stuffed toy fox when you were her age, said Ricky as Kadan looked at his older brother. So be nice to your little sister. Yes, you too, said Sakura as her two youngest looked at each other before sticking out their tongues at each other. Ricky, Eri, I have your team assignments for you, said Niji as he walked up to the group of Namikaze. Niji-sensei, said Ricky and Eri to their school teacher. While the main house of the Hyuga clan had taken on the role of being the Demon Lion summoning clan, the Demon Lion chakra was unable to heal Niji's lung, forcing him to take up a role as the head Jonin at the academy. Thank you, sensei, said the twin Namikaze as they opened the letter to find out what their father and mother already knew. Flashback. Naruto, you know this is against the normal rules of the Leaf, said Shikamaru as he sat down across from his friend. Our kids are at the top of the class. You know they are not allowed to be on the same team. I know, said Naruto. However, with open war between the Mist and Lightning country, it isn't safe for them to be separated. If they get captured by the other side, it would force us into the war. If they attack any of our teams, it will lead to war, said Shikamaru. Yes, however, killing the children of the leader is a much more tempting target than anything else, said Naruto. You are putting them in 4-man teams instead of 3, isn't that enough? Asked Kiba as he leaned against the wall. Yes, however, who will be their sensei? Asked Naruto. Eri, Ricky and Agon Nara will need to be taught by a demon summoner in order to reach the best they can be. So? Asked Kiba. With Hinata being pregnant and Sakura busy running the hospital and Naruto the village, it means I have to take them, said Shikamaru, so we will have to break the rules about a parent being the sensei to their kids. Yes, but who will take the 4th spot? Asked Naruto. I think you should have Fiorella on the team, said Kiba. Shikamaru, no offense to your goddaughter, but somehow she is more into fashion and gossiping about her mother at her age, said Naruto. No offense when it is true, said Shikamaru, however I know she will grow out of it, like Ino did. Well, to be honest, she never truly did, she just learned how to control it, said Kiba. It is pretty much the same thing, said Naruto. Also, having her on the team may smooth over reasons with the few people who still hate you, said Kiba. Kiba, Naruto could save those people from a burning building and they would still hate him, said Shikamaru, however that doesn't mean it is the wrong choice. So Team 12 of this graduating class will be Agon Nara, Era Namikaze, Fiorella Akimichi and Ricky Namikaze, said Naruto as he looked at Shikamaru. And I will be their sensei, said Shikamaru. End flashback. We are with each other, asked Eri as she noticed her brother's name on the team list. So it would seem, and we are also with Agon and Fiorella, said Ricky. Agon and Fiorella? Asked Eri as she smiled at the idea of her best friend being on the same team, and having her brother's best friend doesn't hurt. Yes, and Shikamaru is going to be your sensei, said Naruto. Well, it could be worse. I heard that Tenten Hyuga is a stickler for physical workouts, said Eri. That is just the effect of her training with Guy, said Sakura. However, Shikamaru isn't going to go light on you, added Sakura to herself. I can't wait for tomorrow, said Eri. The next day, Eri and her brother fell against the tree. Standing a few feet away with his hands on top of his blonde hair was a young man only 11 years old. He was the youngest in their class, but he had the brains of his mother and his father. He had on a red shirt with tan ninja pants, his leaf headband was wrapped around his neck. Unlike his father, he didn't have his hair pulled back into a ponytail. He breathed heavily as he tried to keep his blue eyes open. It was hard. I never thought I would hate your dad as much as I do right now, said Eri as Agon Nara just nodded his head. I agree with you, Eri, said her best friend Fiorella as the young Akimichi lied on the grass. She was a perfect match for her mother Ino. It was scary she also didn't have the body fat to pull off some of her clan justu, even though her grandmother had tried everything to put some meat on the bone, as she called it. She was even dressed the same as her mother did at that age. Some people joked that Fiorella wasn't the daughter of Ino and Choji but actually Ino's younger clone. Tired already? Asked Shikamaru as he stood over for Genin. I really hate you. You know that, don't you? Asked Ricky. And your point being what? Asked Shikamaru as he crossed his arms. You made us run around the village 5 times before doing 600 push-ups, 700 sit-ups and 2 hours worth of chakra practice, said Eri, and it isn't even lunch yet. I even saw some of our classmates heading home already, said Fiorella. Yes, however most teams are just getting to know each other. We have been raised together, said Agon. Correct. That means we can skip that part and move on to training, said Shikamaru before a now Chunin Fugaku Uchiha appeared. Shikamaru, Lord Hokage has a mission for your team, said the 15-year-old Chunin. A mission already? Asked Eri as she grabbed the scroll out of Fugaku's hands. Thank you, Daddy. However, her smile disappeared as she read the scroll. What is it? Asked Fiorella. Let's just say a group of troublemakers freed all the cats from the local pet store and Naruto is calling in all new Genin teams to hunt them down, said Shikamaru as he read the scroll from over Eri's shoulder. How many cats? Asked Ricky. Around 35. Said Eri. Starting them out with a cat mission, are we, Naruto? Thought Shikamaru with a grin as he wondered if Naruto himself hadn't pulled the prank so that he could have some fun with the new Genin. The pet store was in the 9th district where Naruto had provided so much money in the past, and it wouldn't take much to talk the store owner into something like this. Whatever it is, it is. Alright team, let's move out, said Shikamaru. The sun was still high in the late afternoon sky as Naruto Namikaze stood on a deck of the Namikaze summer beach home overlooking a large sand-covered beach. The 40-year-old Naruto leaned at the rail looking at his kids and their friends playing in the ocean. Over the years his blonde locks remained, however there were a few flecks of gray hair sneaking in. Maybe it had to do with the demon summon healing ability, but he looked very good for his age. I love our little vacations out here, Naruto-kun, said Sakura as she leaned against the wooden rail with her husband. They had been married for over 20 years and he loved every second of it. Like him, she aged very well, even looking great in her red and white bikini at the age of 41. Yes, it is great to get out of the leaf every once in a while, but having everyone here worries me a bit. Naruto, calms down, said Sakura as she placed her hand on her husband's side. I am sure Fugaku can handle any issues that arise in the village. Yeah, said Naruto as he thought about the 22-year-old Umbu captain who he had left in charge of the ninja corps during his 5-day vacation. Over the past 8 years Fugaku Uchiha had begun to advance through the ranks of the ninja corps at almost unheard of speed. By the age of 13 he was a Chunin. 15 he became a Jonin, and at 16 he had already proven himself as an ANBU member. At the age of 19 he brought down the last ghost of Naruto's generation when he ran a Chidori through the heart of Kabuto, ending the last member of the Sound. There was already talk about him taking Naruto's job as Hokage when the time came around. However, at the moment he was busy planning his wedding to one of Ino's younger third cousins. Who wants a piece of chicken? Asked Kiba as he held a tray full of freshly grilled chicken in hand. I will, said Naruto. Should we go get the kids? Asked Temari as she looked down at the beach where the kids of the Namikaze, Nara, Akimichi, Hyuga and Inazuka clans played and laughed in the sand. No, let them have their fun, said Shikamaru as he drank a beer. On the soft sand beach, Eri Namikaze lay on the beach sunbathing in a light orange bikini. Beside her lay her best friend Fiorella Akimichi in her purple bikini. So Eri, how are you enjoying the sun? Asked Fiorella as she moved some of her blonde hair back. It was scary how much Fiorella looked like her mother. The only real difference was that starting in her teenage years her bright blonde hair had faded, taking on a little darker color like her father's and grandmother's. I think I would rather be swimming, said Eri as she sat up and looked around the beach at everyone who was gathered. She was the oldest technology here, beating her brother by a few minutes. However, the 16, almost 17-year-old Chunin felt she needed to keep an eye out for everyone. Come on and relax, Fox girl, we are taking our Jounin exams in 2 weeks, so relax now. said Fiorella. Yeah, fox girl like you wouldn't want to be one, said Is Floriola's eyes opened wide as she looked at her friend. Don't lie to me, I have seen how you looked at my brother. I see, said Fiorella as she looked toward the water to see their two male teammates Ricky Namikaze and Agon Nara standing by the water watching the younger kids. So you know. Yep, said Eri as she looked at her brother. She would have to admit if he wasn't her brother she would be attracted to him, the toned muscles and the deep red hair and sea green eyes. However, this vixen had a different person in her sight. It was her brother's best friend and the other male member of their team, Agon Nara. So when are you going to ask Agon out? Asked Fiorella. What? Asked Eri. Please, I have watched you drool over him like a schoolgirl since we were 8 years old, said Fiorella. I am just worried that he will say no, said Ricky. Are you fucking kidding me? He probably gets a hard on just looking at you, said Fiorella. Apart from me you are the hottest girl in the leaf. Apart from me and he and I are like cousins. Maybe but a fox and a wolf? Asked Ricky. Don't pull that off, said Fiorella. You know full well that demon summoners can switch to different summons. Like if I do end up with your brother I would gain demon fox summoning skills, and if you do end up with Agon you would become a demon wolf summoner instead of a demon fox summoner. Yeah, but it still worries me, said Ricky. You are just worried about change. You just mastered demon fox sage mode a few months ago and you're afraid you will lose it, said Fiorella. Yards away Agon and Ricky stood watching their brothers, sisters and kids of their parents' friends play in the water. 13-year-old Kadan Namikaze was messing around with his sister by swimming under her before throwing her into the air behind him. Leha Namikaze was only 9 years old and looked like her mother with every passing day. However, unlike her elders brother and sister, she decided she didn't want to be a full-time combat ninja or even a medical ninja like her other brother. She wanted to be a teacher and teach the next generation in the ninja arts in the archenemy. However, at the moment she just wanted to kill her brother for throwing her up into the air. Kids, said Agon Nara as he watched his two younger sisters laugh at the scene as the others looked on as the young Namikaze vixen threatened to hurt her brother. Think we used to be like that, said Ricky. Yeah, said Agon as his blonde hair moved a little bit in the wind. The tattoo showing a blonde wolf was clear as day on his shoulder, just like a tattoo of a red fox was visible on Ricky's shoulder. The tattoo meant both young ninjas had mastered sage mode for more than 5 minutes. Think when our parents were our age they were worried about a demon war and we are worried about making sure our brothers and sisters don't kill each other, said Ricky. Different generations, said Agon. Yeah, in some ways I kind of wish we had something to fight against, said Ricky. Our village has 3 of the 6 demon summons. Yes, but according to Hatch High the other demons are looking for humans to become their summons, said Agon. I guess that will mean we will have to worry about that if it happens, said Ricky. I am just surprised you are this close to Eri right now. What are you talking about? Asked Agon, trying to play it as cool as possible. I mean, I know you love her and that it is about time that you wolves enter your mating season, said Ricky as Agon's eyes changed colors for a second as demon chakra entered his system. When his eyes opened, demon wolf eyes were glaring at Ricky. That isn't your concern, said Agon. Yes, it is, said Ricky as his eyes became silted with demon fox chakra. She is my sister after all. Fine, I was planning to ask her out for a walk on the beach tonight, said Agon as his eyes returned to normal. Good, just don't do it on your first date, said Ricky. You know that we can only mate with only one person in our lives. And I know you like Fiorella, said Agon as Ricky grinned a bit. You have to admit that Fiorella is hot and then there is her personality, said Ricky. You mean a gossip queen, said Agon. It is hard to describe, said Ricky as he turned his head around to see Fiorella and his sister. He couldn't help himself from looking at her and dreaming up many different things. There is more to her than that, just like there is more to my sister than her childlike antics. Yeah, said Agon. Kids time to eat, yelled Kiba's voice from the house as the younger generation rushed out of the water to get the food. Only the 16-year-olds didn't run, they walked side by side on the way up. Agon beside Eri and Ricky with Fiorella, a fact that didn't go unnoticed by their parents. The sun was coming up over the leaf, the markets were filling as the shop owners opened up their doors and started to set up their displays. As they did this, a figure walked through the streets. Few played the person much mind as she passed. She had passed this way every day for almost a year. Nothing seemed to stop her, not the hardest rain or the coldest snow. Every day she made her walk. The only difference this time was she had some flowers in her hands as her cane pushed off against the ground as she moved down the street. Little kids ran around her not knowing who she was. The older generation knew who she was, but judging from the smile on her face, she enjoyed watching the new generation. Slowly she made her way to a large field full of funeral markers. She passed a pair of John Neen who saluted her like she was still in the ninja corps as she entered the cemetery. Slowly she made her way up a small hill until she reached the top of the hill. She looked down as she wanted to cry as she read the nameplate. Naruto Altair Namikaze 6th Hokage of the Hidden Leaf, first Demon Fox Summoner, read the woman, father, husband and defender of the spirit of the leaf. A gentle wing swept through the ground as tears formed in her eyes as she spoke up again. "How are you doing, Naruto-kun?" asked Sakura as she looked down at her husband's grave marker. Her eyes watered as she looked at his grave. Sakura would never forget that day a little bit over 9 months ago when she woke up in her sleep to find her husband of almost 70 years' heart had stopped beating. "I miss you so much. And I am sure you will see him soon," said a new voice as Sakura turned to see the demon fox Katara walking up to her. Unlike Sakura, Katara hadn't aged since the battle against the demons. Then again, demons did live for millions of years. In fact, she and Saito hadn't even gotten mated yet. That wasn't planned for another million years. Sakura on the other hand had aged great for a human, but still at the age of 91 she looked like an old woman. Her once bright pink hair had faded into almost pure white. She had to walk with a cane and her face and body was covered with wrinkles. However, she appeared to be very healthy for her age. Then again, there was no one else her age in the leaf or that matter in the ninja world. Most ninja died by the age of 30 due to war or other injuries, and the average lifespan for a woman was in the middle 80s. Maybe it was because of her demon healing ability that she lasted as long as she did, but it wasn't without pain. She looked to her right and left as she read down the name. Shikamaru Nara, Temari Nara, Choji Akimichi, Ino Akimichi, Niji Hyuga, Tenten Hyuga, Kiba Inuzuka and Hinata Inuzuka, read Sakura as she placed the flowers on Naruto's grave. "You are the last of your generation," said Katara. "I know," said Sakura, "it hurts so much." "I know, but at least you get to see your grandkids and great-grandkids," said Katara as Sakura laughed a bit. "My eldest great-grandkid's first child is due in 2 weeks," said Sakura. "The Namikaze clan has grown just like the leaf has," said Katara as she looked over her shoulder to see Naruto's face in stone in between the face of Tsunade and the face of the 7th Hokage Fugaku Uchiha. At the end of the line was the stone face of the newest Hokage who was sworn in only a few days ago. Yeah, Ricky and Fiorella had 5 children, all boys, and Kaden had 2 sons and a daughter, said Sakura, "and that isn't counting the 3 kids that Eri had with Agon when they got married. Then there are my granddaughters from my little girl." "You had a good life," said Katara. "Yes," said Sakura with tears in her eyes. "You haven't told your children, have you?" asked Katara. "No, Naruto was the only one who knew, so why let them worry about something out of their control?" said Sakura. "I am surprised you look as good as you do," said Katara. "Most people with heart conditions don't last as long as you." "Yeah," said Sakura, "I was able to hide the signs, but I can feel my heart weakening with each passing day. I don't have much time left." "I know," said Katara, "I would guess a day if that." Sakura cried, but they were tears of joy as Sakura shook her head. "Les," said Sakura, "I know it is wrong to want to die, but I want to be with Naruto-kun again." "There is nothing wrong with that, mates normally want to rejoin their lost mates," said Katara. "Yeah, Shikamaru died within a year of losing Temari. Kiba died when Hinata died in that ambush, said Sakura as she remembered the horrible day over 30 years ago. Flashback. Last bit of paperwork, said the 61-year-old Sakura as she sat up from behind her desk. Going to enjoy retirement? Asked the top doctor of the Leaf, her son and her student Kaden Namikaze. It is only a state of semi-retirement. I will come in maybe 1 maybe 2 times a week and help you out, said Sakura. Mom, that will not be needed, said Kaden. I am not like some retirees who sit around and read. I need to be active, said Sakura as an alarm went off. We have injuries coming in, reported Kaden. End flashback. Hinata died when she and Kiba went on a family trip. She took a kunai which was meant for her 2-year-old grandkid, said Sakura. Naruto himself went out and made the band of thieves pay with their lives for that attack. I know, said Katara. That was the first death and others followed, said Sakura as she felt her heart begin to slow down. When her heart began to slow, the wind picked up speed as fresh cherry blossoms filled the air. Sakura-chan, said a voice Sakura knew all too well as her cane fell to the ground. Instantly the guards who were standing outside the gate rushed as she fell to the ground. Mrs. Namikaze, yelled the guard as he caught Sakura as she fell. Instantly he turned to the other, get a doctor. Don't worry, she has gone to a better place, said Katara. Naruto? Asked Sakura as eyes closed for a moment, however when she opened them again she was lying in a pure white room. She could feel a hand running through her hair, she knew the hands all too well. Naruto? It's me, Sakura-chan, said Naruto's voice as Sakura raised her head to see a much younger Naruto looking back at her. He looked just as he did when they first got married. Am I dead? Asked Sakura. In a way, said Naruto, as my dad described it, as like a holding area between life and death. If you are good and destined for heaven, someone always comes to meet the person to help them cross over, but you can fight it and stay in the world of the living. No, I want to be with you again, said Sakura as tears formed in her eyes. I missed you every day. I know I watched you every night wishing I could remove your tears, said Naruto as he took his wife's hand. If you are ready we can cross, everyone is waiting to see you. Everyone? Asked Sakura. Well, everyone apart from Sasuke, but I didn't think you would mind that, said Naruto with a smile as he helped his wife, his mate and the love of his life, to her feet. As she rose, her skin rejuvenated as her wrinkles went away, as her eyes returned to their normal good, her hair turned from white to bright pink. Her body shaved the pounds that she had gained over the years as her body turned back to her 22 years old body. Her clothes changed from the old lady clothes to a bright red tank top which showed off her chest with her black shorts. I never thought dying would feel like this, asked Sakura as she looked into Naruto's eyes. Does it have to be painful? Asked Naruto as he pulled his wife close, resting his forehead against hers. I bet I look more beautiful now, asked Sakura as she put her hands around Naruto's neck. Sakura-chan, you are always beautiful, said Naruto as he moved some of his wife's hair behind her head. Sakura smiled as she started a make-out session with her husband. Will you two hurry up? Yelled a new voice she knew belonged to Ino as Sakura looked over to see all her friends, her family and Naruto's own parents, and who she assumed was his grandparents, standing there. You guys can do whatever you want when we are done welcoming you, said Ino. So Sakura-chan, you ready? Asked Naruto. Yes, said Sakura as she crossed over. The last of the generation who fought in the Demon War had passed on.